I'll be taking hearing services. So pose is what you're saying. Vogue in the middle of services.
Should be with us.
1 minute.
We're
We sit all the way up here.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Welcome everyone to this late service, the 7 p.m. service. I'm Rabbi Michael Fetchback.
Cantor Rhoda Harrison.
We always have hope that there will be new people to meet and greet, so we will always introduce ourselves. But you know what? Even though I recognize all of you tonight, you never know who is online, who's lurking, who's shirking, who's working with us off somewhere in that sacred area called cyberspace. So welcome to everyone on Facebook, on our Boxcast, on our website, and on our YouTube channel as well. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
We open with the psalms and songs with which we welcome Shabbat, Lekunu Ranana and Shiru Ladonai, pages 130 and 131. Which is found on pages 138 and 139, we rise to let Shabbat into our lives. So, two things in this bridge, this transition moment between the week that was and the Shabbat that comes into us. One is horrible and the other more minor, but still very much something that I am excited about. The horrible news, in case you had not heard. Earlier today, 3 hostages managed to escape. And they were working their way towards whatever freedom they hoped to find, and the IDF mistook them for Hamas terrorists and killed them. 3 hostages killed in friendly fire. It's devastating. It's just as bad as the situation is, that's somehow even worse. We are beginning to get the nominees from the schools we have invited to participate in our Martin Luther King weekend. The service will be also at 7 p.m., but on January 12th this coming year, 2024. And something happened that has never happened in the 5 years that I was in St. Thomas or last year here. One of the award winners from one of the schools is a member of our congregation. So I find that very special. I'm excited about it. Remember that the congregation does not participate in the selection, so we didn't have our fingers on the scale in any way to make that happen. It's all above board and honest, but I am thrilled to hear it. So, Shabbat Shalom. May the spirit of peace come into us, and may it be a sweet Shabbat for us and for the world. L'chadodi, pages 138 and 139.
Shabbat,
page 144 for Chetzi Kaddish, and 146 for Baruch Hu. After Baruch Hu, we will remain standing but face one another. Page 144.
Amen. The Almighty
Top of 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. Page 150, on the bottom of the page. Earlier, before services, one of you asked me about the legacy of the Pharisees and who the Pharisees were in comparison to the rabbis. The Pharisees are criticized by our Christian neighbors, or at least they were in the New Testament, for being overly legalistic. But for Jews, it is very clear. Telling your kid to clean up her room is, in fact, an act of love. Law is an expression of love. It is the expression of God's care. It is expression of the way that we are supposed to inculcate orderliness and meaning in the world. And so we turn to page 150, the prayer which connects for Jews law and love, the prayer Ahavat Olam. In English on 150, everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Am Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. I'm at the very bottom of page 155. 3 readings there. The one from Martin Buber. Let's read it together. When people come to you for help, do not turn them off with pious words, saying, "Have faith and take your troubles to God." Act instead as if there were no God, as though there were only one person in all the world who could help, only yourself. Michamocha, page 158.
Mi chamocha, vayli Adonai, mi chamocha, nedar b'kodesh, norat tehilot, osei feleh, norat tehilot, osei feleh, malchutecha, ra'u b'necha, b'kei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, she'elianu v'yameru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam v'ne'emar, kifat Adonai et Yaakov, u'ge'anu migad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shalom.
Gad Yisrael.
Page 162 on the bottom, but before we go there,
So the melody this evening that I'd like to share, Yismachu, our Kiddushat Hayom, our prayer for the sanctification of the day, is by a composer that we've been including in our yahrzeit list the past couple of weeks, Chazan Charles Davidson. And before I share this melody, it behooves me to ask the question, what does it mean to share to you when I say we sing it to the traditional tune? What does that mean?
you mean of Yismachu in particular,
Of
or
anything,
of anything?
anything. What does it mean when I say we're going to use the traditional, or when you say to me, Cantor, will you please use the traditional tune? What are we really saying?
Grandparents or parents. One our parents, our ancestors sang.
The old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my grandfather didn't sing it the way your grandmother did, but that's all right.
Well, and also, so Shalom Rahav, is that traditional?
Yes.
Written in the 1970s. What were you going to say, Talia?
For me, whenever I heard things referred to as the traditional tune or the folk tune, that's because we don't remember who wrote it anymore.
That happens. Although that's Shalom Rahav, Jeff Klepper.
Yeah,
So I'd like to put out there that traditional is the one that speaks to our heart. The challenge is, as the rabbi alluded to, what speaks to my heart may not be the same thing that speaks to another person's heart. Because it is what our parents sang, what our grandparents sang, what was done in the community in which we were raised. And since we weren't all raised in the same exact community with the same exact leaders, that word traditional is very messy and not the same. It's very subjective. So allow me to introduce a melody that I consider traditional because I got to sit in the pews with Chazan Charles Davidson very often through my childhood. This is a congregational melody, even if it may not be traditional to you, although maybe to one person here because they went to HA a lot. But it's still an old tune, a traditional tune, and one that is beloved to me, and I share it in memory of Chazan Charles Davidson, and the refrain repeats, so hopefully it'll become traditional maybe in a few minutes to everyone else. Yismechu v'malachotecha shomerei Shabbat v'korei oneg. That's the refrain. Yismechu v'malachotecha shomerei Shabbat v'korei oneg v'korei oneg המקדשי שביעי כולם ישבעו ויתהללו מטובך והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו חמנת ימים אותו זכר למעשה בראשית ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג וקוראי עונג. May his memory be a blessing.
The Amidah, the Tefillah, beginning on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai, Sifatai Tika, Ufi Agita Gilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei בכל יום ילדותך סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Continuing personal prayer. You may be seated at the bottom of page 180.
Prayer for peace. Aseh shalom b'meraha, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, v'yavol Yisrael, v'yalkol yoshvei tevel, v'yimeru, Amen.
As we continue with the Torah service, I ask Shelley and Elaine and Jonathan to help with this part of the service, and we will include others for the later part. But if you'll please come for the ark doors and for helping with the scroll. We continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of Torah, page 362.
In Knocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'yin k'ma'asecha, malachutecha, malachut ha'olamim, ameshatecha b'chor ha'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai
The great reveal comes next week, at the beginning of next week's portion. But here, something happens that hits me so close to home with what is going on in our lives that I am avoiding Genesis chapter 41, the part that I have always read from this portion, and going to Genesis chapter 42. And in Genesis chapter 42, it's very clear when Jacob sends 10 of his sons down to Egypt and they encounter Joseph. Velo hikiruhu. That's not Japanese. That's a Hebrew phrase meaning they did not recognize him. Now that is astonishing. They did not recognize him. It's true, the portion tells us, that he is taking on an Egyptian name. It is true, as the portion tells us, that he is using the Egyptian language, so he talks like an Egyptian. It is true with the Saturday Night Live skit or wherever it was from the 1970s that he walks like an Egyptian.
I saw that.
I say the Bengals.
It is true, the Bengals, he has an Egyptian name, but they don't recognize him. Maybe it's the cognitive dissonance of having thrown him into a pit, having looked down on him literally, not being able to look up to him, the defying of expectations. But for me, for now, many, many more things come to mind. All of those Jews in Hollywood who changed their names. Alan Koenigsberg, what's his name? Woody Allen, right? Many, many more. Milton Berle, by the way, his niece was a member of my congregation in Erie, Pennsylvania. What do you think she called Milton Berle?
Uncle Milty.
Uncle Milton. Just like the entire rest of the country did, right? All of those people who changed their names. I thought we were past that. But now, Hanukkah is a time with a particular commandment, l'firsomet hanes, to publicize the miracle, so much so that one is supposed to have one of your menorot, at least, in the window, visible from the outside. But now, people are taking mezuzot off their doors. The mezuzah, traditionally, in folk religion, supposed to be a sign of protection. Now, a sign of danger. People are canceling Hanukkah parties. At first, attendance at synagogue increased. Now, people are afraid to go. What is it we do to mask ourselves, to hide ourselves? Who are we? Does the inside and the outside match? Howard will be answering that question next week. Otherwise, I leave it to you for now. Who are you? And does the inside and the outside match? Are there any December birthdays? Anyone here with a birthday? Any December anniversaries? Well, I would say this should be 1/12 of the congregation, but we don't have that many people here tonight. Far fewer than we usually have in person, by the way, so this is not typical. So would anybody like an aliyah for tonight? Talia, come on up. I saw your hand move, whether it was raised or not.
All right, you
Ta'amod.
I can do an aliyah.
Aliyah. Let me find where I'm starting because it's the middle of the column. And this is not a portion that I have, a part of the portion I have read before.
We're starting at verse 1.
Vayar Yaakov. Okay. Also, I wasn't familiar with the word shever for rations, but apparently, okay, it comes up quite a bit. I will translate. Go ahead.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamborav. Baruch Adonai Hamborav le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Consider yourself called out by your Hebrew name, since we didn't do that. Please hold this for me. Vayar Yaakov ki yesh shever b'Mitzrayim, vayomer Yaakov livanav lama titra'u. And Jacob saw that there was rations to be had, provisions in the land of Egypt, and he said to his children, and Jacob said to his children, why are you, and I love this word, titra'u. It's the hitpa'el form, which means it's reflexive of the word ra'ah. So ra'ah means to look. Reflexive would be to look at yourself. So lama titra'u, why are you sitting there looking at yourself? Right? Not doing anything. Vayomer hine shamati ki yesh shever b'Mitzrayim. I've heard that there are provisions in the land of Egypt. Redu, go down. Redu shama, go down there. V'shav'u lanu misham, v'nechyeh v'lo namut, and we will live and not die. V'yeredu achei Yosef, asara, lishbor bar mimitzrayim. And the 10 brothers of Joseph went down to Egypt to secure provisions from the land of Egypt. Vet Binyamin achi Yosef lo shalach Yaakov et achiv, and Benjamin, Joseph's full brother, Jacob did not send with the other brothers, ki amar pen yikre'enu ason, for he said to himself, lest some kind of tragedy happen to him. Vayavo v'nei Yisrael lishbora b'toch haba'im ki haya ha'ra'av ba'aretz Canaan. And the brothers came, the Israelites, the children of Israel came to buy provisions along with all others who were flocking to Egypt at the time, because there was this famine in the land of Canaan. V'Yosef hu hashalit al haaretz. Joseph was the vizier of the land, the prime minister. Hu ha-mashbir l'chol am haaretz. He was in charge of all of the provisioning of the people. Ve'yavo achei Yosef ve'yishtachavu lo apayim arza. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down to him with their faces on the ground. Vayar Yosef et Echav, and Joseph saw his brothers. Vayakirein, and he recognized them. Vayit naker alehem, but he acted foreign around them. Vayedaber otam kashot, and he spoke harshly to them. Vayomer alehem, saying, Me'ain batem, where have you come from? Vayamru me'eretz Canaan lishbor ochel, from the land of Canaan to secure food. Vayikar Yosef et Echav, and Joseph recognized his brothers, vehem lo hikiruhu, and they did not recognize him. Vayizkor Yosef et hachalamot asher chalam lahem, vayomer alehem meraglim atem lirot et ervat haaretz batem. And Joseph remembered his dream that he had dreamed about them, and he said to them, "You're spies who have come to scope out the nakedness of the land. Vayamru alav, and they said to him, Lo Adoni, vavadecha ba'u lishbor ochel, kulanu b'nei ish echad nachnu, kenim enachnu, lo hayu avadecha meraglim. And they responded, No, my master, your servants have come to purchase grain, have come to purchase provisions. We are all the children of one person, and we are honest people, which is an interesting self-description. Remember all they did before, and we're not spies. Vayomer alehem lo ki ervat haaretz batem lirot. No, you've come to spy out the nakedness of the land. Vayamru shnai masar avadecha achim, and they said we're 12 brothers. Anachnu b'nei ish echad. We're all the children of one man. Be'eretz Canaan, in the land of Canaan. V'hine akaton et avinu, but the hayom va'achad enenu. And one of them, the youngest, is with our father still, and one of them is no longer. Vayomer alehem Yosef, hu asher diber alecha lemor, meraglim atem. And Joseph said, it's what I said to you. You are spies. That's an interesting discrepancy. And when Judah, at the beginning of next week's portion, approaches Joseph, Judah must be thinking, because that was not responsive, because he's speaking in whatever Egyptian language it is, and they're speaking in Canaanitish, or Proto-Hebrew, and he, of course, understands them, but they need translators. So Judah, he says, they said, we're the child of one father, and he said, it's like I said, you're spies. So he's not responding at all to what they just said. So Judah thinks maybe the problem here is the translator. So we'll talk about that in Torah study, not this week, but next week.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yishkach. Mishaberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, v'Yivarech, v'Yirapeh et hacholim ha'ela. O God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, send your blessing and healing to the following of our friends: Drew Lishan, Mona Ellis, Dave Wetzel, Sonia Kaplan.
Leanne Campbell.
Steve Taylor, John Russell.
Page 371, Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh Cholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us heal, who brings us comfort. Page 377. Avinu Shebashamayim, Shor Yisrael v'Go'olo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Heshit Smichat Geulatenu, Hagen Aleha Be'evrat Chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'amitcha Lavosheha, Sareha V'yoetzeha, V'taknem Be'etza Tova Milfanecha, V'natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'simchat Olam Leyoshveha V'nomar Amen. Oh, together, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And how does Joe Biden end, President Biden end almost all of his speeches? Again, may God bless our troops. May God bless all those who defend her as well. Protect them. Let us say. Amen. Bennett, will you come forward to hold the scroll, and the cantor will lift it, and Shelley and Elaine, you can help dress it in a moment. As we lift the scroll, please rise.
Besot HaTorah asher Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael b'Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai, lai, 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 yai, yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai.
Page 374, as we return the Sefer Torah to the Ark.
Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Hey, Tahini, le'achazikim ba, ve'etom bechecha, me'ushar,
Bottom of page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach v'aton ha'ol, l'atei tefillah l'yotzer v'reshit, shelo l'asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo l'samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'lo l'aleinu k'chol ha'onam, v'anachnu chorim Bayom Ha'u Yihyeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo 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 Echad.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm the substitute. Please join us for an oneg following services. Shabbat morning study will meet in the Cohen Library tomorrow at 9:15, followed by Shabbat morning services at 10:30. Great Jewish Books with Rabbi Feshbach continues Thursday, December 21st at 12 noon. Everyone is welcome. Friday, December 22nd at 5:30 will be a college homecoming Shabbat. Our returning college students and their families are invited to join us for services and a special Shabbat dinner for them. College students and their families, please RSVP to the office for dinner. The next J Place Adult Book Group will meet on January 10th at 1 o'clock in the Cohen Library. The selection is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. Mark your calendar for our annual MLK Shabbat on Friday, January 12th at 7 o'clock. Reception to follow. Rabbi referred to this service earlier.
Please bring 12 people with you, each of you.
And if you were here last year, you know how spectacular it was. The children were phenomenal. Their families came. They were so articulate, and it was all heartfelt from these young children. So please, watch for the announcement of our Spirit of MLK Award for our area high school seniors, and come and celebrate with one of our own, which is awesome. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Have a nice week.
As is the custom of our congregation, should you choose to do so, should you feel comfortable doing so, we ask that you rise when we call the name of a loved one, so that we may know that you are here in mourning and in memory, and we will, as is the tradition in most Reform synagogues, rise as a congregation as a whole for the Kaddish prayer itself. There are stars whose radiance is visible on this earth, though they have long since ceased to exist. There are people whose light and whose warmth continue to shine for us, though they are no longer among us. These stars which shine in the dark of the night, they light the way for you in kind. We remember at this time those of our congregation's beloved whose yahrzeit occurs on this Shabbat. Aaron Abraham, Faye Arcus, Hattie Ball, Becky Belkin, Samuel Bookbinder, Minnie Braverman, Betty Jane Brickman, Barbara Kassoy, Dr. Arthur Dinton Foss, Stanley Feinstone, Gene Friedman, Jack Gilbert, Joy Gottlieb, Eugene Gullo, Paula Herrick, Ursula Katz, Benjamin Kirshner, Samuel Corin, Evalyn Latz, Joseph Licciardello, Mildred Lowenstein, Barbara Malamet, Harriet Morris, Morris Nathanson, William Pincus, Gladys Pred, Bernice Rappaport, Abraham Rosenthal, Renee Saber, George Sarago, Frida Stoller, Bernard Weiss, Fred Wolf, Jesse Wolfstein. Before I continue with recent deaths, is there anyone else here to say Kaddish for someone whose name I may not have mentioned? We had with sorrowing hearts Janet Milstein, Phyllis Pinner, Rabbi David Ellenson, Cantor Charles Davidson, Cantor Judith Ovadia. Memories of all of our loved ones are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn now to Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitkadam v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrei cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayei chron v'yomei chron v'chayei kol beit Yisrael, ba'agav v'zman karid v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kedusha b'rechu. Le'elam im kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, davenam le'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'kol Yisrael v'imru. The source of peace, send peace to all who mourn, among us and wherever they may be, and together let us say. Amen. I believe it is, but maybe not. Do you remember the words to Od Yavo we usually do this on the first family service. I'm not sure it's in the back of the book. It might be. Od Yavo Shalom. I'll find the page in a moment.
The words mean may indeed. Peace get
353, page 353, not in the brackets, sorry. I'll tell you the one in the brackets in a moment.
Bottom of the page.
Page 657 in the brackets, 657.
Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kulam, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kulam. Salam, salam. Oh, I totally spaced. I'm sorry.
That's not a
Totally
problem.
spaced.
Not a problem. I haven't prepared one yet. There will be, but I haven't prepared. Let's brach.